My name is Amina Kadrajanova and I'm from Kazakhstan. I'm currently interning for RECOF, the Center for People and Forests, where I'm doing business development and partnership activities, and I'm 24 years old. So the recent climate marches that happened on Friday, the 15th of March, mobilized over 120 countries and 1.5 million students were involved. And I believe it's a great message that youth can do changes. You're never too small to implement actions, and together we are power, and together we can bring about the change needed that is currently lacking. Happy International Forest Day!
The Asia-Pacific Forest Sector Outlook Study is an important flagship report on the trends of forests and forestry, at the same time also on how forests would look like in the next 1 or 2 decades.
The report looks at some compelling areas where we need as a community to really bring about change. We need to build resilience of the communities, we need to build resilience in forests, we need to build resilience in the landscapes as well.
The Asia-Pacific Forest Sector Outlook Study 3 is a data-driven assessment, meaning we employed intensive data gathering activities to capture the changes in social, economic, demographic, urbanization, and other land uses, and how this has changed through time.
The value of involving students in this study is, undescribable. Youth provide such a different perspective on forests and the future, and it's important to include intergenerational collaboration as well as cross-sectorial.
The Outlook study actually charts a sustainable futures, but it also points out that in order to achieve sustainable future, the future that we want, there are a lot to be done. Business as usual is not an option. We have to put more effort on almost all fronts. One of the effort that needs to be increased is to improve governance. Governance will define how future will look like. Second is to actually define our economic models. Is growth first is the most appropriate one or not? The Outlook study considered that growth first model is not enough. We have to invent a new model of development that takes into account broader pictures, economics, ecological, and social aspects.
This study is very interesting for us because it plays with various scenarios, and it helps us in saying, okay, what is the favorite scenario and what sort of outcome you want to have in the future, and as a result, what sort of research you may want to start now.
APA Free will be more than happy to disseminate this to our members and to facilitate all our members to use as much as possible the report.
So I think this will be a very, very important document. It collects information in terms of what we know, but also provides us an opportunity to tell the story a little differently, to weave them together in ways that would make it much more useful for the future in confronting the challenges that we know we will be facing in the next decades.
It is a starting point for countries to act and the recommendations can actually be translated into real action. And that's where FAO, through its country offices, will really be working with all our stakeholders to make a difference. This is a flagship report for the region, but we also see this as a report that helps us to galvanize together to bring about change in this region.
ก็คลองรัฐโพมันมีทางรัฐและใช้ประโยชน์อะไรได้ครับพานักท่องเที่ยวมาชื่นชมครับดีครับจนจบครับก็ในคลิปนี้นะคะที่ผมมาก็ได้เรียนรู้เกี่ยวกับกลุ่มบางกระเจ้าที่บางเรื่องก็ยังไม่ได้ทราบเลยค่ะแล้วก็ได้เกี่ยวกับโครงการคลองรัฐโพที่ได้ทราบลึกมากขึ้นแล้วก็เกี่ยวกับหน้าที่ของกรมชลประทานค่ะบางเรื่องที่ได้เรียนรู้มาหนูก็ไม่เคยรู้มาก่อนแทนที่แบบอยู่ที่นี่มานานมากแต่ก็ยังไม่รู้
Bangladesh is one of the most vulnerable countries to the negative effects of climate change. Rising sea level and increasingly unpredictable and extreme weather events have serious implications for the millions of people who live in Bangladesh, particularly those who rely on natural resources to support their livelihoods. According to the report INDC 2015 of Bangladesh's contribution to the total global emission of greenhouse gases is 0.35%. Human activities associated with forestry, agriculture, and other land management practices account for more than half of total global emissions that play a part in climate change. Sustainable management of natural resources must be a part of the solution to climate change. A national greenhouse gas inventory for the agriculture, forestry and other land use sector is a useful tool for monitoring efforts that intend to reduce emissions as well as for integrating climate change into the government's national planning. Developing a greenhouse gas inventory is made difficult by a lack of reliable data limited documentation, and a limited number of national greenhouse gas inventory experts. The Forest Department, under the Ministry of Environment and Forests, is in collaboration with government partners and national entities such as the Department of Environment and universities. With the financial support of the UN REDD programme, the Forest Department aims to strengthen Bangladesh's greenhouse gas inventory capacity for the land use change and forestry sector, and establish a robust forest reference level for REDD+. Interventions include the Bangladesh Forest Information System, which is under development and is intended to facilitate transparent access to robust data about forestry. The establishment of a data sharing policy for the Forest Department aims to improve collaboration among government departments, academic institutions, and other relevant organisations. Training workshops and materials to build upon the skills of the Forest Department, ministries, universities, and other related stakeholders. Support to universities in developing a new curriculum to improve academic capacities and create a critical mass of people with knowledge and skills on greenhouse gas inventories. These activities will help to establish a sustainable, nationally led greenhouse gas inventory system for the land use change and forestry sector that will enable Bangladesh to provide more robust greenhouse gas estimates and to better manage natural resources in the fight against climate change.
The forest in Bhutan is very important for these people. Firstly, because of its terrain. Bhutan is a highly mountainous country. With forest only we can prevent certain natural calamities, so it is protecting the land of Bhutan. Secondly, around 60% of the population of Bhutan is residing in rural area where they derive their livelihood from the forest and its product. And our leader, His Majesty the King of Bhutan, has been always emphasizing on the conservation and the protection of the forest and its environment. That's why it is also enshrined in our constitution, stating that around 60% of the total geographical land of Bhutan should be covered with forest in all time to come.
Capacity development for a country like Bhutan is very important because we would like to manage our own forest resources using our own capacity. FAO has been supporting Bhutan, in particularly the Forest Department, in the REDD+ journey initially through the REDD+ UN REDD TS support, whereby they help us with the capacity building component, and later FAO supported us when we developed our REDD+ readiness proposal. So with their support we managed to get funding from the World Bank, which we are implementing currently, and also now FAO is helping us with the development of the forest reference emission level, which we would be submitting to UNFCCC very soon.
The technical people of Bhutan who are involved in construction of FRAL came to FAO to get the technical assistance from FAO expert, and once we go back we will be finalizing the FRAL that needs to be submitted to the UNFCCC.
In the mountains of northern Vietnam, farmers from Tru Hung commune share a stake in protecting the forest. Together, they have formed a forest and farm producers group which manages a plantation of magnolia trees. In the past, farmers here practiced shifting cultivation, leading to heavy soil erosion. Now they collaborate to grow trees and raise livestock. When it's time to harvest the wood, they receive valuable information about current timber market prices so they can negotiate a better deal from the middlemen.
Chưa có dự án thì chúng tôi bán thì có là tầm 400 trên 1 mét khối. Nếu mà bình quân thì vào có là tầm 600 thế này thôi. Nhưng mà đến bây giờ thì sau khi dự án đưa vào chúng tôi là biết liên kết với biết để thông tin cái thị trường. Để thành ra là đến hiện bây giờ là đầu ba của chúng tôi đã lên đến 1.050.000. Nếu mà tính bình quân thì phải vào 1.600.000.
In Vietnam, food security and forest cover have both increased significantly in the last 25 years. The country has changed from a net importer of staple foods to become one of the world's top rice exporters. Economic and agricultural reforms have reshaped the way local communities interact with the woodlands, as state forestry has given way to more community-based management.
Hỗ trợ cho nông dân những cái nơi trồng rừng có thể nói là đời sống được cải thiện hơn trước.
Win Thi Mi Hui cares for 2 hectares of acacia trees in northern Yanbai province. She and fellow villagers receive loans and technical assistance in managing a small forestry enterprise.
Thưa anh, thì đối với bản thân tôi ấy, thì tôi nhận thấy là thời điểm như hiện tại bây giờ ấy là được bà con nhân dân và chính là gia đình nhà tôi ấy thì được trồng cây là phủ xanh đất trống và cái độ che phủ của rừng ấy là rất là tốt, nên đối với tôi thì nhận là thấy cái môi trường hiện tại.
As incomes have risen, forest cover has also grown, from a low of 29% in the 1990s to 48%.
Và chúng ta đã có thành tựu rất lớn, đó là cái rừng trồng được tăng lên rất mạnh, đến hơn 3,5 triệu hectare rừng trồng được tăng lên trong vòng 15 năm. Và cái sản lượng gỗ cũng tăng lên rất mạnh. Cái sản lượng tăng trưởng bình quân từ cái chỗ 7 đến 8 mét khối trên năm thì hiện nay lên đến trên dưới 15 mét khối gỗ trên một năm, có những nơi có thể lên tới 40 mét khối gỗ trên một năm.
This emphasis is helping Vietnam restore its forests, boost standards of living, and ensure a plentiful food supply.
My name is Desmond. I'm from Malaysia. I'm currently studying in National Taiwan University. My major is forestry and natural resources. I chose forestry because while I'm exploring myself in high school, I actually look forward in the next 10 years what the current flow will be following. So one of the things I explore is the changing of climate and the rising of high population nowadays in most of the countries all around the world. So I make myself a few choices from zoology to ecology, and I ended up in forestry because forest is like the base where this ecosystem can be helped and where I can study both animals and plants and the interrelationship in it. Happy International Forest Day!
I'm Enrico Replan. I'm 28 years old and I'm a forester in the Philippines, currently working in the International Center for Research in Agroforestry. So for the International Day of the Forest, I would get to people to love forests in terms of telling them the benefits that they are getting from it, directly or indirectly, and tell them that forests must be conserved in order to protect the interest of the next generation.
.150 kilometers east of Hanoi lies Son Dong district. Lush verdant forests cover many of the hilltops, while much of the low-lying land has been deforested for agriculture, infrastructure or other uses. Deforestation and forest degradation in developing countries are a major contributor to global greenhouse gas emissions that cause climate change. Vietnam, as one of 30 countries at extreme risk in terms of their vulnerability to climate change, is taking action to reduce its emissions.
To reduce emissions from deforestation, countries must first know how much forest they actually have, how much carbon it contains, and how much of that is being lost. Only after having all this information, the countries can manage their forests in a sustainable way.
These Vietnamese field workers have come to measure vegetation as part of the country's comprehensive forest inventory. They're collecting information on the canopy cover and the number, size, species and quality of the trees. They also interviewed the local population about their use of forest resources. Back at the office, they then enter the data into the Open Forest Collect software. The software is also being used in Tanzania and several other tropical nations. The need to input data collected on paper forms will soon be eliminated with the launch of Open Forest Collect Mobile, which will enable field workers to enter data directly into a database via a smartphone device. A separate software, Open Forest Calc, is then used to process the data. As Vietnam is the first country to use the calculation tool, it's being assisted by the Open Forest software experts, based at the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization in Rome. The software enables them to analyze and visualize the data that's been collected and report the results.
Thì chương trình này là cho phép chúng tôi tính toán và phân tích được toàn bộ cái diễn biến của tài nguyên rừng trong một cái thời gian nhất định. Đồng thời chương trình cũng xử lý và phân tích để tính toán các cái giá trị về yếu tố môi trường khác của rừng, bao gồm các cái bể chứa carbon, rồi cũng như là các yếu tố về đa dạng sinh học, cũng như là những yếu tố liên quan đến lâm sản, ngoài gỗ, vân vân, cho phép chúng tôi có một bức tranh tổng thể về cái tài nguyên rừng và cây ở toàn quốc.
Once tropical nations know more about their forests and can use this information to increase their forest resources and the carbon stock stored in those forests, then they stand to gain financially from the Reducing Emissions Through Deforestation and Forest Degradation Initiative, also known as REDD+. They also stand to gain directly from the reduced threat of climate change.
Changes in climate change, they are enormous. You can already see change of rainfall pattern. Yeah, that's very, very obvious. It comes when it's not expected, and when it comes, it's too much than what is needed by farmers. So this really, it affects the food security.
The wealth of information being gathered by national forest inventories in Vietnam, Tanzania, and currently 3 other countries, and the processing tools provided by Open Forests will help inform better policy making that supports both forest conservation and sustainable forest management. It is hoped the results will illustrate for other developing countries that sustainable forest management can be more profitable than the unsustainable alternative.
Nepal is known for its community forestry, a successful participatory approach for forest protection and management that was formalized by law over 3 decades ago. Community forestry groups represent more than 1/3 of the country's population and manage 1/3 of its forests. Because of this, Nepal naturally takes a community-based approach to REDD+. Since 2018, Nepal has had a national REDD+ strategy, but to implement it effectively, it needs to be adapted to local circumstances. The UN REDD program, together with Nepal's REDD+ Implementation Center and the International Center for Integrated Mountain Development, ICIMOD, has supported this process through the development of sub-national REDD+ action plans, directing investment towards actions which support local livelihoods and address local drivers of deforestation, as well as national REDD+ goals.
Here with this sub-national planning process, we identify exactly what it is at the local level that ultimately contributes to the global goal of reducing emissions from the forest and land use sector.
Nepal is a vast country, spanning from the Himalayan mountains to the low-lying plains, which means notable differences in forest ecosystems and in the drivers of deforestation. Therefore, REDD+ policies and measures must be designed locally and with full involvement of local institutions and communities. The sub-national REDD+ planning process took a multi-stakeholder approach designed to help meet the objectives of Nepal's national REDD+ strategy. Throughout 2015 and 2016, a series of consultations were held to develop the first sub-national action plan for Chitwan,
identifying the local hotspots, drivers of deforestation, and the actions to address them. One key action identified was the integration of agroforestry models into the business plans of 4 local cooperatives, allowing them to balance economic development with environmental conservation. The Milli-Julie Beekeeping Cooperative was one of these.
Agriculture is directly dependent on forestry sector. That's why, the forestry sector is one of the key areas where the government can invest for return to the people. The key objective of the government policy is people's participation. Red Action Plan, it was prepared in consultation with the local people. That's why it was popular.
It's nothing new. It's just a matter of linking local actions with global concerns. We found this cooperative that is working with bee apiculture, and what they do is they are planting more trees, they are conserving forest, which is ideal for red.
Before the Chitwan Plan, monoculture banana plantations dominated here. After the planning process supported by the UN RED program, the bee farmers have started to intercrop trees that they can use both for fuel wood and to improve their honey production. With a simple and relatively cheap solution, bee farmers have addressed the challenge of increasing production, improving food security, and increasing tree cover. Their knowledge and ideas are crucial for a successful outcome.
जति हामी पहिला इसी मोडबाट जोइन हुनु अगाडि हामीले त्यति चासो वनजङ्गललाई दिँदैन थियो भन्देखि इसी मोडबाट जबकि जुन हामी ट्रेनिङ लिएर आयौं मान्छे भनौं अब जंगलबाट चाहिँ बिरुवा लगाएपछि अब मान्छेलाई चाहिने अक्सिजन बिरुवाले दिन्छ अब त्यसमा हाम्रो व्यावसायिक दृष्टिकोणले पनि त्यसले पनि अब र मेटेरियल काम गर्ने भयो.
A second key action under Chitwan's RED Plus sub-national plan is promotion of sustainable forest management in community-managed forests. Through technical training, forest users learn how to improve their livelihood and economic benefits while maintaining conservation objectives.
यसमा केही छैन यसमा यति पातलो छ हेर्नुस् यसमा केही आउँदैन काठ भनेको यसो दाउरा पनि आएन यहाँ चाहिँ माटो भरिएको थियो यस्तो खालको छ र यो वन मात्रै हामीले चाहिँ वैज्ञानिक वन चाहिँ गत साल.
The new approach encourages harvesting trees on a rotational basis so that timber and fuel wood can be produced, used, and sold sustainably by the local communities. Previously, this community was encouraged to focus just on conservation. Now they're also using the forest to improve their livelihoods, and this provides the motivation required for them to invest in effective protection and management activities.
जंगल भएन भने मैले उहाँले नि भनिसक्नु भयो हैन पहिलो कुरा त हामीलाई अक्सिजन नै हामीले नलिने सक्ने अवस्था हुन्छ त्यसमा अब यहाँबाट हामीले चाहिँ घाँस दाउरा प्राप्त गर्न सक्छौं अनि अर्को चाहिँ जंगल भयो भने चाहिँ पानी पर्ने बाढी पहिरो नजानी त्यस्तो चाहिँ हुन्छ.
After the Chitwan experience, the Nepali government wanted to scale up this subnational RED Plus approach in other parts of the country. Ilam, in the east of the country, is known for its thriving tea industry, run by small-scale farmers. Yet while the tea industry contributes to the local economy, it's also a driver of deforestation. The only way to address this is through a landscape approach, in which various actions are planned and implemented in a coordinated way, aiming at maximizing economic, social, and environmental benefits.
You see this tea garden, it has no trees, so this is a monoculture. There's always the danger of deforestation or conversion of forest land to plantation. So there's also the opportunity of introducing trees into this landscape so that it can be more sustainable form of tea cultivation.
पर्न आउँछ र यो हाम्रो चिया बगानको वरिपरि चिया बगानको छेउमा चाहिँ हाम्रो किसानहरूले चाहिँ खास मिश्रित खेती प्रणालीहरू चाहिँ यहाँ अपनाउने गरेको छ र यो चिया बगानको छेउ कुनातिर चाहिँ हामीले अलैँची लगाउने अनि हामीसँगै यहाँ पछाडि देख्न सकिन्छ यहाँ किवी पनि हामीले सँगसँगै लगाएका छौँ र चिया पनि भइरहेछ र यो किसिमको खेती गर्दाखेरि किसानहरूलाई चाहिँ दोहोरो फाइदा हुने देखिन्छ र अलैँचीबाट पनि राम्रो आम्दानीको स्रोत मानिन्छ अनि यस पछाडि किवी फलबाट पनि अहिले राम्रो आम्दानीको स्रोत मानिन्छ र चियाबाट त अहिले धेरै राम्रो पनि भएको छ।
We identified the need to help Nepal to measure the impact of elements of a RED Plus strategy. RED Plus is ultimately about scaling up approaches that demonstrably work. I think this work that we've been doing in Nepal really gets to the heart of relating RED Plus to the real world.
The overarching policy of the government is to increase forest-based benefits to people. They're contributing to the livelihood of the people. Second is contributing to the enhancement, conservation and enhancement of biodiversity. And then third one is contributing to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. That means contributing to mitigate climate change. So these are the three overarching objectives of the government. And within that, RED Plus contribute to all those three things.
In addition to being scaled up nationally in Nepal, the sub-national RED Plus approach is being adopted globally. It's already in place in India, Lao People's Democratic Republic, and Vietnam.
More of us live in cities than at any point in human history. But unprecedented urbanization doesn't need to equal polluted concrete urban sprawl. We have the knowledge to make cities cleaner, greener, healthier places to live for current and future generations. By 2050, 6 billion people will live in cities. Trees are a natural air conditioner, cooling the air by between 2 and 8 degrees. Urban forests filter harmful pollutants from the air and act as a carbon sink, helping mitigate climate change. So let's make our cities greener, healthier, happier places to live.
Hi, I'm Kirsten Langmaid. I'm 26 and I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I am a Masters of Forest Ecosystem Science student from the University of Melbourne, but I also work in Forest Fire Management Victoria, working on forest fire policy and predictive modelling services. I've always loved the forest. I think my parents took me camping and let me run around outdoors as a child to try to burn off some energy, and ever since then you just couldn't separate me from the trees. Originally I didn't want to go down the forestry path. I was quite disheartened by the way Australia dealt with its forests and what I thought the future would be, but then I decided that I could make a difference from being within the sector. So here I am in the policy, trying to make a difference one day at a time. Happy International Day of Forests! Whee!
Hello, my name is Ninad. I'm from India. I am a PhD student at the Wildlife Institute of India and I'm 30 years old. I was brought up in a countryside India which has a diversity of wildlife, of ecosystems, cultures, languages, everything. That motivated me to choose wildlife conservation and the ecosystem preservation as a career after my graduation. India is going to be world's highest human population in 2023, and this is not just the highest population, it is the rapidly developing population. This brings an obvious influence on its ecosystem, its ecology, the relation between people and these ecosystems. And I think having a knowledge on that and information on that can help to devise a sustainable, a better future. Happy International Day Forest!
The island of New Guinea possesses the third largest tropical rainforest on the planet, after the Amazon and the Congo Basin. About half of that forest belongs to Papua New Guinea. 1 in 20 of all animals and plant species are found here, making it one of the most biologically diverse places on Earth. Many of these species are found in the mountainous forests of the island nation's interior. But Papua New Guinea's forests are under threat. The population has grown from 2.8 million in 1975 to 7.6 million today, and that growth, associated with poverty conditions, has led to the cutting down and burning of forests. Commercial agriculture has put further pressure on the forests as a main cause of land use change, while in other areas logging has degraded primary forest to secondary forest. This degradation is affecting the livelihoods of indigenous people. Joseph from Bundi village in the southern Madang province of Papua New Guinea has been hunting bushmeat since he was a boy.
Before lawyer I got plenty couple now animal where me plus I kiss him. So now plenty man all katim bush na wokem garden now. All abus, all animal, lorislap, all usimna, all you go long way.
In addition to having always provided a source of animal protein to indigenous populations, the forests also provide other foods, such as plants and mushrooms, a crucial safety net when crops fail, and an even more crucial food source for communities that do not practice agriculture.
Before time, Papa been stopped. Now one kind of lookout me go. They coming up from me plow pikinini. Now look out to me plow, so he got good plow bush. Now bush long. Cut him DY. Now walk him house. Now find him all peace. Lawara. Now find him all pig muruk inside the bush. Now kai kisim na kai. So this time benefiting me plow community la place.
There are more than 800 recognized language groups in Papua New Guinea. Almost all of these groups believe that the forests are inhabited by spirits who must be respected.
Forest in Papua New Guinea is very important for the livelihood of our people. And as a responsible government, we want to make certain that we conserve the forest for our people in Papua New Guinea for their livelihood.
But in order to effectively manage their forest resources, the government first needs to know much more about the forest resources they possess. This will also promote a dialogue with the Ministry of Agriculture in order to find a common solution to the problem of the high pressure on forests. Which is why now, with the assistance of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, the European Union and Italy, Papua New Guinea is conducting its first multi-purpose national forest inventory.
To assist them to have an accurate and precise data of the forestry resources in the country, and we see this as an opportunity for the country to let in the future their own management in a sustainable manner of the forestry resources.
The inventory will not only focus on recording the number of tree species and types of forests, but will also incorporate an assessment of Papua New Guinea's biodiversity. The Italian government is providing funding to the Mountain Partnership, a UN alliance promoting mountain development, to undertake this biodiversity survey.
We want to put more emphasis on the fact that these forests, due to their exceptional biodiversity, provide a wide range of products and ecosystem services that are of vital importance for the subsistence and adaptation to climate change of local communities. Mountain ecosystems and their forests have a special role as they provide products and services not only to upstream indigenous communities but also to downstream villages, economies such as water, timber, fiber, maintenance of quality of soils, protection from landslides and so on.
30 people, including scientists from Papua New Guinea, Italy and Australia, have made the 4-hour trek to Wanang Research Station to undergo the training required to get started. For these scientists, it's the chance of a lifetime, but also a daunting one.
Quindi la grandissima area che deve essere studiata, tutte le foreste di tutta la Papua Nuova Guinea, l'enorme biodiversità presente in queste foreste e anche la scarsità di conoscenze di alcuni aspetti di questa biodiversità e problemi logistici in generale, difficoltà di accesso di alcuni siti, la sicurezza, e soprattutto il tempo di lavoro in campo. È stato stimato non più di 2 giorni per stand forestale.
The groups are measuring species diversity and collecting samples of animal and plant species.
We're using 3 techniques. Point count is one where you stand in one spot and for 10 minutes you record every species that you see or hear and its distance from you. The second technique is a McKinnon list where you randomly search around the plot area. That allows you to search for species which you might not detect in the point count, species that are shy. Every 10 species you start the new list and you get an indication of what species turn up regularly on your list as well as an overall list. We're also setting song meter boxes which record all the bird calls in a 24-hour period. After the survey you can go back and go through and listen to the calls and get a list of the calls that you hear, another list of diversity.
Meanwhile, the team from Papua New Guinea's Binatang Institute is conducting the survey of insects in the forest. Insects have many important functions, including for human nutrition.
Insects provide, it's very important in the rainforest because most of the insects are pollinators to almost all the species of plants. Also they are herbivores, they eat most of the plant leaves, and also they provide food to the higher animal taxons like birds, especially the birds. So by studying insects you can also relate with the plants how the health of the forest is.
The teams enter the data into a database using Open Forest Collect software developed by FAO in Rome. The software is open source and allows the team to customize the parameters to enable them to enter and analyze the particular data set they are gathering. Once the data has been inputted, they are sent back to the Binatang Institute in the town of Madang together with the sample themselves for analysis. Improved forest inventory data and a national forest monitoring system are essential if a country wishes to seek results-based payments for REDD+ activities, which aim to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from deforestation and forest degradation. As one of the planet's greatest reservoirs of carbon, intact tropical forests are vitally important to the global carbon cycle and thus to global climate. And these forests are not only critical for storing carbon, they protect watersheds, prevent soil erosion and promote soil fertility. functions that are crucially important for sustaining livelihoods.
By protecting biodiversity, we aim to reduce the risk of an unsustainable use of forest resources, an unsustainable use that will eventually undermine the resilience of forests and their capacity to provide these goods and services to present and future generations.
I'm Maria Paula Sarigumba. I am a Filipino forester. I work in the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations as a Forest Policy and Sustainable Agriculture Specialist. Now I am facilitating a regional youth consultation workshop for the Asia Pacific Forest Sector Outlook Study 3. I chose to become a forester because forest is where the vulnerable and marginalized communities live in. And these people have less in life, and I think they need more of experts like us to protect and conserve their shelter, their source of food, their source of medicine, water and air. And that is I think what is my calling.
Land fires continue to rage around the central Kalimantan capital, Palangkaraya, leaving a thick smoke haze over the city. Dozens of hectares of empty land along Jalan Mahir Mahar and the Trans-Kalimantan Highway have been burning.
The National Disaster Mitigation Agency has recorded 419 hotspots, while central Kalimantan fires have consumed 1,715 hectares of forest and land.
Peat is 90% water and 10% organic matter. Peatlands need to remain underwater. If you start draining them, what you can imagine what you happen, basically what you drain then is a pile of organic materials, which is leaves and branches, which is very flammable. In 2050 what had happened, the communities, private sector, it's starting to drain the peat. And then in the combination of oxygen, organic matter, and then an ignition that can cause wildfires. By preserving and by stopping deforestation in the remaining lowland areas, we preserve peat, and by doing so we preserve the carbon stored in peat, because peat is the largest terrestrial carbon stock in the world. We are now in the Sabangau National Park in central Kalimantan, Indonesia. This is one of the last pristine lowland peatland forests in the world.
Taman Nasional Sabangau kita tahu memiliki luas 542.121 hektar. Kita memiliki sekitar 166 jenis pepohonan, 35 mamalia, 36 jenis ikan. Ini merupakan salah satu habitat terbesar orangutan yang berada dalam satu hamparan. Untuk masyarakat di sekitar kawasan, 5-6 tahun sebelumnya, mereka masih belum memahami arti penting dari gambut itu sendiri. Sehingga mereka menganggap bahwa gambut sama seperti tanah-tanah yang lain, kebakaran di wilayah gambut berbeda dengan kebakaran di wilayah hutan seperti yang lainnya. Kalau di hutan, kebakaran hanya terjadi di atas permukaan dan di pohon itu sendiri, atau di tumbuhan itu sendiri. Tapi kalau untuk kebakaran di daerah gambut, kebakaran bisa menjalar sampai ke bawah tanah. Ada 44 desa yang berada di sekitar kawasan Taman Nasional Sabangau. Dan mereka sebagian besar bermata pencarian sebagai nelayan.
20 tahun yang lalu, semasa saya ke sini, itu ikan masih banyak di sini. Pohon-pohon ini masih hijau, masih besar-besar. Kalau sekarang sudah ikannya mengurang. Orang yang kerja banyak, orang yang kerja. Akibatnya kebakaran juga ada. 2015 kemarin, kebakaran di Sabangau sini besar sekali, asapnya tebal, bikin saya sesak napas.
The UN RED program works at the strategic level, and for this we need synergy with other donors and stakeholders on the developing integrated fire management for better fire management and peat management response in Indonesia.
The project works on capacity of local communities, local government to more effective deal with peat fires, and we do that through training to the South African program working on fires.
South Africa is fire adapted. They've been using fire for millions of years, and everything, the vegetation is actually made for it. We know how to use it as a very strong tool, and we just offered our help. Here we are training MPAs, which are community resilient firefighters, where they've got a core function of being 80% fire prevention and 20% fire suppression, because the best fire to fight is the one that never happens. All over the world, more than 90% of fires are caused by humans. We very strongly believe in the philosophy that the community is not the problem, they are the solution.
Siapa kita? MPA! Siapa kita? MPA! Di Desa Buntu ini tahun 2015 itu api membakar lebih dari 800 hektar, baik itu lahan-lahan masyarakat, kebun-kebun masyarakat, kemudian juga hutan desa Buntuy yang sekitar 8 ribuan itu habis terbakar. Kebakaran itu juga banyak asap yang membuat penyakit di masyarakat. Jadi kami merasa tanggung jawab kami jangan sampai tahun 2015 itu akan terjadi kembali. Saya yakin mereka inilah yang menjadi solusi di desa mereka. Dan mereka juga membawa masyarakat mereka untuk peduli terhadap gambut, peduli terhadap api. Dan juga buat masyarakat Kalimantan Tengah, marilah kita peduli api. Sadarlah bahwa lahan gambut ini adalah lahan kita. Lahan yang memang harus kita jaga.
Kami sangat senang dengan ada pelatihan ini. Artinya menambah wawasan kami sebagai MPA. Kami sadar bahwa dengan adanya pelatihan ini akan terimplementasi nanti di lapangan. Artinya segala kekuatan nanti kita rasakan di saat kebakaran terjadi. Saya merasa bahwa di desa kita itu kondisinya gambut. Jadi siapa lagi kalau bukan kita?
The abundant grasslands of the sweeping Mongolian steppe. These pastures provide the fodder for a nomadic livelihood that remains a major force in the nation's economy. Yet there are also sizable forests, occupying 12% of the vast Mongolian territory, sometimes hidden on the sides of mountain ridges. Less visible, but no less vital to the survival of Mongolia's people and wildlife. Oyentugs is on one of her regular missions to monitor and protect these forests. She is a forest user group ranger in the northern reaches of Mongolia, where steppe gives way to taiga. Oyentugs helps patrol a 30 square kilometer patch of larch and birch, on the lookout for illegal cutting of trees or forest fires. She also verifies that forest activities are implemented according to plan. She feels it's a small task she can do to make a difference. Her role is part of a project that is fundamentally changing how Mongolians interact with their forests. Mongolia holds some 188,000 square kilometers of forest land. But as Mongolia's economy has expanded, these forests have been shrinking. Greater demand for timber, human-induced fires, mining, and overstocking of cattle have taken a toll on the nation's tree cover. In the 1990s, as many as 400 square kilometers of forest were disappearing every year.
The local people, many years, are suffering because there are a lot of illegal logging happening in the areas, a lot of fires. All these strangers come in and do whatever they want to, and the local people were basically helpless. They couldn't do anything.
But things are now changing through the efforts of people like Bachagal. His family makes a living off a few hundred sheep, goats, and horses. Until recently, he could do little but watch as outsiders poached the resources of his valley. Now, Bachagal is taking a leading role in protecting them. Bachagal serves as the chairman of his forest user group, a body of ordinary citizens who oversee the community's woodland resources. Today, his group is working to clear dead trees from the forest. They are one of 15 such pilot groups that have been established in 5 provinces across Mongolia, the first phase of a novel program supported by the FAO with funding from the government of the Netherlands. The participatory forest management program enables people whose lives are directly connected to forests to use and manage them.
We have seen also in many countries in the world, not only in Mongolia, that involving local population is key to stop forest degradation, but it's also a major challenge.
It's a gradual effort of building trust and providing locals the tools they need. User group members receive training on forest assessment, mapping, management planning, fire prevention, and marketing of forest products. They then develop their own plan to put into action. The project has given the Altansumber group a new understanding of its relationship with the forest. And it has given them a sense of community that extends beyond the tree line. Rural communities are also able to tap into new sources of income by selling dead wood for use in construction or firewood and non-timber products such as pine nuts and berries in local markets. Bachagal is signing a contract with the governor of his district to sell 1,500 cubic meters of firewood for the winter. An economic partnership that brings benefits to both sides.
Яг гол нь бид нар бол одоо суманд чинь мэрэгжлийн гэдэг нэг ганц улсын байцаагч манайх жишээл 3 багтай байхгүй. Тэгээд нэг л байгаль хамгаалагч ажилладаг. Тэгээд тэр нь бол одоо яг одоо иргэдэд гэдэг юм уу юунууд гойжонгой бичээд байнгын хяналтаа тавьж чаддгүй. Тэгэхээр зэрэг гол хамгийн эхний давуу тал бол ерөөсөө нөхөрлүүдээр бид нар тухайн эзэмшиж байгаа энэ сангийн хяналтыг тавиулж чадж байгаа.
The pilot phase of the program is nearing its end. The next step is to expand nationwide, scaling up from the existing groups to cover all forest areas of the country. It's a long-term task that involves drafting policy and refining the legal framework for woodland resources at the national level. But this scaling up has already informally begun, as some group members share news of their success with other herders, who are starting up user groups of their own.
And I think that's very positive, because you see this interaction at local level between groups, and there is nothing better than herders talking to another herder. I mean, that's the best way you can communicate and pass over knowledge. And this is already taking place, and I think the pilot user groups which are working with us are very proud of this, let's say, of the status they have achieved, to be the one who can now convey, let's say, their experience to other groups.
Protection efforts are showing signs of improvement. In some degraded areas, forests are beginning to regenerate, with young larch trees steadily advancing down the hillside. And in project areas, herders feel they are no longer dependent on outside forces to protect their environment and their livelihoods.
Урд тэр чирээс тийм мэдрэмж байхгүй байсан. Сүүлд нэг янз бүрийн гараад ирэхэд ойтой өрөөд ирэхэд хүн чинь бас өөр бол тийм байлээ. Одоо нэг нөхрөлийн гишүүн байхад одоо хоног хөр басууд тэнд тийм машин оршиж мэдээд өгдөг болчих тийм байлээ. Ойгоо ойлгож хэлж явахгүй үүрэг ажиллах. Тэр нэг удаа хариулт одоо хэн тугад хариулж байгаа эмэгтэй хүн гэсэн тэмдрэг мод оршиж машин оршиж өгөх нь мэдээд өгдөг болчих тийм байлээ. Тэгэхээр үндээсээ төлөв болж байгаа гэсэн ойлголттой л байна.
They said, well, we saw this forest before, or interacted with the forest. Anyway, we just make our fences, and whenever we need fuel wood, we take it, and that's it. Now they know that this forest is theirs. It is not only theirs, they also say this forest is their children's and their children's children's.
Hello, my name is Sopian Hidayat. I'm from Indonesia. I work for Conservation Strategy Fund, an international environmental agency working on a conservation program. I'm from Jambi, one of the province in Sumatra Island. Jambi province has a lot of forests. So in my childhood, I always play in forest area, and then now the forest area becoming decreasing. So this is my concern to be environmentalist.
My name is Stephanie Lee. I'm 32 years old and I work at FAO Regional Office for Asia Pacific, and I'm here coordinating the Regional Youth Consultation Workshop today, and I'm also working on the Asia Pacific Forest Sector Outlook Study 3. So the theme for International Day of Forest is Forest and Education, and as an individual, as a person who's working in forestry, one way for me to educate my surrounding would be to let them know, take a look around your house and see what are the things that is from the forest. And I bet you there's going to be a lot of things. It's your clothes, it's your furniture, it's your food, and pretty much if you take a closer look at it, it's pretty much everything from the forest. Happy International Day of Forest, you guys!
Forests cover 1/3 of all land on Earth and are a vital part of our global ecosystem. They provide timber, food, fuel and medicine for more than 1/3 of the world's population. 1 billion women depend on forests for their livelihoods, supporting their families and communities. Children also benefit from well-managed forests, as wood and non-wood forest products generate income which enables families to pay for food, healthcare, and sending their children to school. Forests and trees even make our cities better places to live. They are a source of cool, clean air and enrich our cities with healthy places to relax and unwind. As long as we use forests sustainably, they can help us make the economy greener, as wood is 100% renewable, and wood products have a smaller ecological footprint than alternatives, such as plastic and concrete. A wood-based economy can create new and better jobs in cities and in rural areas. Plus, when local and indigenous communities have secure rights to their forests, they can create businesses that benefit everyone. Forests also protect the natural environment. They absorb 2.6 billion tonnes of carbon dioxide each year, about 1/3 of the CO2 released from the burning of fossil fuels. Forested watersheds supply 75% of the world's accessible fresh water, used in homes and to irrigate farmlands downstream. And forests protect coastlines from erosion and inlands from floods and other natural disasters. Forests are home to 80% of the planet's animal and plant species. They are our life support system. We must manage forests sustainably, as it is forests that make sustainable development possible. It is forests that make life on Earth possible.
केही वर्ष यता विदेशबाट नेपाल फर्केका युवाहरूले आफ्नै ठाउँमा भएको स्रोत साधनको आधारमा रहेर कृषि तथा वनमा आधारित उद्यममा लागेको पाइन्छ। उनीहरूको जाँगर र परिश्रम देखेर विदेश जान तयार भएको युवाहरू पनि स्वदेशमा नै केही गरौँ भन्ने सोचले कृषि कर्ममा लागेका छन्।
आफ्नै थोरै जमिनमा पनि सानो अलिकति 50-60 हजार लगानी गरेर गरेँ। त्यसबाट मेरो आम्दानी यस्तो राम्रो भयो कि अब चाहिँ यो खेती गर्यो भने अझ धेरै राम्रो हुनेछ।
काभ्रे बेथानचोकका कृष्ण प्रसाद तिमल सिन्हा धेरै आम्दानी गर्ने सोचका साथ वैदेशिक रोजगारीका लागि मलेसिया र साउदी गएर धेरै दुःख पाउनुभयो। अहिले उहाँ उन्नत जातको भैँसी पालनबाट उल्टै वार्षिक रूपमा 4 लाखसम्म बचत गर्न सफल हुनुहुन्छ।
पहिलाकै हजुरबाहरूको बुवाहरूको पाला जस्तै चाहिँ भैँसी चाहिँ 4-5 वटा घरमा पालेर छ। अब विदेश जान साटो बरु यसलाई चाहिँ म आधुनिक तरिकाले पाल्छु, अलि उन्नत किसिमका पशु पाल्छु, उत्पादन बढी लिन्छु जस्तो लागेर अनि मैले चाहिँ यहाँ यो व्यवसाय सुरु गरेँ हो।
काभ्रे खोपासीका सुमन उलकले अर्काको जमिन भाडामा लिएर च्याउ खेती गर्नुभएको छ। उहाँले आफू बाहेक अन्य 9 युवालाई पनि रोजगारी दिनुभएको छ।
9-10 जनालाई त हामीले रेगुलर रोजगार दिन सकेका छौं।
नवलपरासी देउरालीका तेजबहादुर गुरुङ गाउँमै नमुना किसानको रूपमा परिचित हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँ व्यावसायिक रूपमा बाख्रा पालन, भैँसी पालनदेखि बेमौसमी तरकारी खेती गरी मनज्ञ आम्दानी लिन सफल हुनुभएको छ।
5 गट्ठा आफ्नो जग्गामा टमाटर खेती मात्रै लाछ भने बाँकी 10 गट्ठा लिजमा लिएर मैले तरकारीमा चाहिने यो घिउसिनी, काउली, बन्दा, आलु यसरी व्यवसाय हिसाबले खेती गरेको छु सर।
अहिले नेपाली युवा किसानहरूको सृजनशीलतालाई राज्यले सम्मान पनि गर्न थालेको छ।
जति पनि हाम्रा कार्यक्रमहरू छन् युवा नै लक्षित कार्यक्रमहरू नै हुन् र त्यसमा जाने हामीले वास्तवमा नीतिगत सहयोगदेखि लिएर गएर वस्तुगत सहयोगमा पनि सब्सिडीका कुराहरू र त्यसको व्यवसाय प्रवर्धनको निम्ति चाहिँ सरकारले चाहिँ टेक्निकल सपोर्ट कुराहरू र कृषि अनुसन्धान पनि त्योसित जोडिएर सप्लाई गर्ने कुराहरू र इनपुटमा पनि सहयोग जुटाउने कुराहरू, इनपुटको व्यवस्थापन गर्ने कामहरूमा चाहिँ नेपाल सरकारले लगाइरहेको चाहिँ स्थिति हो।
What government is actually doing
actually in this regard, government has planned some of the activities. Government has enacted some of the policy level interventions. Government has proposed some of the rules and the regulations. They have given some options like giving some loans and grants for the youth.
We have addressed this issue by particularly support the government in coming up with the sound policy, have some initiative or supporting program to enhance the youth employment and rural development in the country, so that it will provide a livelihood and choice for the community or rural community that would prefer to stay. This will also enhance the food security of the country.
नवलपरासी जिल्लाको सुनवल र रुपैलिया क्षेत्र तथा काभ्रेको नाला र पनौतीका युवा कृषकहरूले विदेशमा सिकेको सिप र प्रविधिलाई भन्दा पनि त्यहाँ गरेको मेहनतबाट पाठ सिकेर तरकारी, गाई, बाख्रा, भैँसी पालन, च्याउ, मौरी, लप्सीको माडा, बाबियोको डोरी, ब्रिगेड लगायतका विभिन्न उद्यम गरेर जीविकोपार्जनबाट गरेको सफलताबाट अन्य युवाहरूले पनि पाठ सिकेर उद्यमशीलतामा लागेका छन्।
Agriculture is the backbone of Philippine society that feeds nearly 105 million Filipinos. Thus, the need to sustain this food source for the present and future generations. The youth will inherit this concern for food security.
Young people ages 15 to 30 comprise almost 30% or 29 million of the Philippine population as 2015. Those living in rural areas are often marginalized as a result of problems such as poverty, food insecurity, discrimination, displacement, and lack of education and opportunities.
Fast industrial and technological advancements have shifted youth interest away from agriculture to more corporate-leaning job opportunities.
Agriculture offers many employment opportunities, yet young people are discouraged due to hardship and low income associated with farming. But by their numbers alone, there is tremendous potential for youth to be involved in ensuring a sustainable future for the country.
The Food and Agriculture Organization, or FAO, is implementing a project with a local NGO, Yakap Kalikasan, encouraging youth involvement in sustainable development. Through this project, 3 youth groups grew vegetables and herbs right in their own backyards and schoolyards through simple and inexpensive ways.
Ang mga tanim po namin dito ay ang madalas namin kinakain sa aming bahay. Ang mga bago na sa aming panlasa ay ang coriander o wansoy, pipino, lettuce.
Gumagamit po kami ng recyclable materials upang mga patapon na bagay sa amin ay magagamit namin sa garden muli at mapapakinabangan. Katulad ng plastic bottles, jeans, sapatos, fan cover, gulong at iba pa.
This healthy produce in the school youth gardens supply the school's feeding program, ensuring more nutritious food for the students.
Dahil ito po ay nagbibigay sa amin ng fresh vegetables na readily available po na nandiyan lang sa school, very nutritious po at hindi na po siya kailangang bilhin.
Ang mga kinakain naming gulay, okra, talong, pechay, at marami pang iba. Ang mga gulay na ito ay masustansya at masarap.
These youth gardens are examples of how small backyards, abandoned spaces, garbage dumps, or urban areas can be converted into something useful, attractive, and productive.
Inago po namin yung idea na tambakan lang po ng garbage itong tabihan ng building namin dito, and we turned it into organic gardening place.
The gardens also serve as a learning laboratory of students.
Ginagamit po namin ito as laboratory, part po ng aming curriculum para po gamiting research laboratory sa science.
This youth-driven gardening resulted in more responsible youth and more capable young leaders.
There is a need to revive the youth's interest to pursue farming as a profession, for it is vital to future food security and agricultural development. FAO is working to encourage and engage young people to be the next generation of farmers, food entrepreneurs, scientists, agronomists, extension workers, and government leaders.
Dati po, dito sa village namin, hindi po kami magkakakilala. Pero po, nung nagkaroon ng orientation, mas nakilala po namin yung isa't isa at natuto po kami mag-gardening para sa pagkain namin.
Kami po ay modelo ng isang youth organization para po sa organic gardening.
Kami po yung naglilinis ito, nagbabantay po. Tsaka po, tumulong po kami sa pagpaplano po nitong layout ng garden. Yung mga gulay po, dinadala po namin sa feeding program po namin. Tsaka po, naibebenta po siya para po sa pondo ng YESO.
Everything was a learning process, a combination of seeing, reflecting, and adapting. The youth have already brought the gardening technologies into their own homes, involving now other members of the family.
Nag-adapt po kami ng vertical gardening sa harap ng bahay namin kahit may maliit na spasyo para makatipid sa pang-araw-araw na gastusin at meron pang araw-araw na ulam.
We believe that the youth can really contribute in the promotion of sustainable development, especially in addressing the need for food, healthy life, equal opportunity for education, and the sustainable environment. And this is the youth empowerment.
Our future is in the hands of the youth.
Thanh niên chính là tương lai của phát triển bền vững, an ninh lương thực và nông nghiệp. Người nông dân là các chủ hộ nhỏ, đang ở độ tuổi già hóa, ít có khả năng tiếp nhận công nghệ sáng tạo để tăng sản lượng nông nghiệp bền vững. Việc khuyến khích sự tham gia của giới thanh niên trong lĩnh vực nông nghiệp đã và đang trở thành một chủ đề nổi bật trong thời gian gần đây, được đưa vào chương trình nghị sự phát triển, xuất phát từ những quan ngại toàn cầu rằng nông nghiệp không phải là một lĩnh vực việc làm thu hút đối với phần lớn thanh niên trên thế giới. Vì vậy, việc khuyến khích giới thanh niên để họ thấy viễn cảnh tươi sáng trong ngành nông nghiệp, đồng thời vận động ủng hộ họ phát triển sự nghiệp trong lĩnh vực này là thực sự cần thiết. Để thúc đẩy việc tiếp cận với công nghệ sáng tạo và khích lệ thanh niên tự định hình tương lai cho chính mình, Tổ chức Nông lương thuộc Liên Hợp Quốc tại Việt Nam đã thực hiện dự án tăng cường kết nối với thanh niên trong phát triển nông lâm ngư nghiệp bền vững. Trung tuần tháng 9 năm 2017, cuộc thi ý tưởng sáng tạo của thanh niên trong phát triển nông nghiệp bền vững được phát động. Ban tổ chức đã nhận được 22 ý tưởng sáng tạo của các bạn trẻ, trong đó 2 ý tưởng xuất sắc nhất đã giành được giải nhất và giải nhì. Đó là ý tưởng chăn nuôi và trồng trọt khép kín theo phương thức hữu cơ của tác giả Đinh Tuyết Nhung, xã Yến Dương, huyện Ba Bể, và ý tưởng liên kết tổ hợp tác sản xuất rau củ quả an toàn của nhóm tác giả gồm 9 người, đại diện là anh Lương Đình Hùng, xã Như Cố, huyện Chợ Mới. Bên cạnh việc trao giải thưởng tiền mặt dành cho 2 dự án trên và hỗ trợ kỹ thuật trong quá trình triển khai, toàn bộ thành viên tham dự cuộc thi đều được dự chương trình đào tạo nâng cao năng lực về các kỹ năng thực hành canh tác hiệu quả trong nông nghiệp bền vững, học hỏi và trao đổi kinh nghiệm phát triển canh tác và kinh doanh nông nghiệp. Đây là mô hình kinh tế của chị Đinh Tuyết Nhung cùng chồng và bố mẹ ở xã Yến Dương, huyện Ba Bể. Gia đình chị bắt đầu chăn nuôi lợn từ lâu nhưng quy mô nhỏ, hiệu quả chưa cao. Do đó, chị Nhung đã quyết định áp dụng một vài đổi mới vào mô hình kinh tế của gia đình, mở rộng quy mô và đa dạng hóa sản xuất một cách bền vững, đồng thời giảm được chi phí. Thông qua dự án chăn nuôi lợn thịt, gà ta và gà đen của người Mông và trồng rau gia vị theo phương thức hữu cơ, chị đã đưa được mô hình kinh tế khép kín vào thực tiễn canh tác.
Em nói chung là về làm thế này thì cũng là trái ngành, không phải chuyên ngành của em học, nhưng mà cũng do là mình có một cái đam mê sở thích và thấy trên địa bàn tỉnh Bắc Kạn thì cũng còn khá nhiều tiềm năng để mình phát triển về ngành lĩnh vực nông nghiệp, nên là em cũng qua tìm hiểu trên các trang mạng rồi bạn bè rồi em cũng có, ví dụ như là bố mẹ mình đã qua từng trải thì em cũng học hỏi nhiều để cho mình hoàn thiện hơn.
Với ý tưởng tận dụng những nông sản dư thừa sẵn có tại địa phương, chị Nhung đã áp dụng quy mô sản xuất theo mô hình khép kín. Nuôi giun quế từ phân thải của chăn nuôi, sản phẩm từ giun quế đem nuôi gà, lợn. Phân giun quế dùng để trồng rau gia vị, giúp giảm chi phí chăn nuôi một cách đáng kể, đồng thời duy trì sản xuất bền vững. Ngoài ra, phân thải của lợn có thể được sử dụng cho mô hình khí sinh học quy mô nhỏ, đủ cung cấp năng lượng cho 2 hộ gia đình để nấu ăn và nguồn điện. Nhận thấy nhiều lợi thế về đất nông nghiệp của địa phương, nhu cầu cao của thị trường về rau quả an toàn và nhu cầu cấp bách để tạo ra cơ hội việc làm cho thanh niên, anh Lương Đình Hùng đã vận động gia đình chuyển đổi đất nông nghiệp của gia đình mình để xây dựng mô hình trồng rau. Năm 2017, Tổ hợp tác rau an toàn thanh niên Như Cố ra đời và bắt tay làm thí điểm mô hình trồng rau tại thôn Nà Trào, xã Như Cố với hơn 6.000 m2 đất ruộng. Nhờ có giải thưởng từ cuộc thi ý tưởng sáng tạo của thanh niên do Tổ chức Nông lương Liên Hợp Quốc tổ chức cùng với vốn đối ứng, Tổ hợp tác đã mở rộng quy mô sản xuất trên diện tích 1,2 ha với các loại cây chủ yếu như dưa lưới, cà chua, dưa lê, dưa chuột, mướp đắng rừng và thanh long ruột đỏ.
Chúng tôi nhận thấy là cái vai trò của đoàn viên thanh niên trong phát triển kinh tế nông nghiệp rất là quan trọng. Tôi cũng tranh thủ những cơ hội cũng như là cái bối cảnh mà kinh tế hội nhập thì đứng ra để làm sao quy tụ những bạn đoàn viên thanh niên cũng như là các hộ gia đình mà kinh tế đã vững mạnh để tập hợp lại thành một cái tổ nhóm sở thích cũng như là tổ hợp tác để phát triển kinh tế, để lấy đây là một cái mô hình điểm cho toàn đoàn viên thanh niên xã cùng thực hiện.
Hợp tác xã sẽ cung cấp rau củ quả an toàn ra thị trường và tạo việc làm cho người dân và lực lượng thanh niên địa phương, những người thường di cư đến các thành phố lân cận để tìm kiếm việc làm và cuộc sống tốt hơn. Trong tương lai, việc nhân rộng cơ hội cho thanh thiếu niên thông qua các khóa đào tạo và tham quan mô hình thực hành tốt này cũng được lên kế hoạch. Nhiều thanh niên Bắc Kạn cùng với thế hệ trẻ Việt Nam nói chung hiện vẫn đang tìm con đường lập nghiệp cho bản thân. Dự án tăng cường kết nối với thanh niên trong phát triển nông lâm ngư nghiệp bền vững cho thấy nông nghiệp là một cơ hội nghề nghiệp có triển vọng, đồng thời thể hiện tiềm năng của thanh niên trong việc chuyển đổi ngành nông nghiệp và phát triển bền vững bằng cách áp dụng các công nghệ mới và ý tưởng sáng tạo.
So you really have the power to shape the future in your own field.
Also, we want to learn about what are your visions, perceptions towards the future. Are you hopeful? Are you not? Are you depressed?
What we want to do in this workshop is to hear what are the perspectives of youth towards the future of forest and forestry and the society in general.
It's very important to involve youth in this Outlook study for a number of good reasons. First is futures are theirs. There will be leaders in the future in 2030 and 2050. Secondly, youth have different perspective than older generations. We would like to capture these innovations and also new thinking or paradigm from the youth. Involving them, they actually help us shape the future.
So now, reflect. How do you envision the future?
When I close my eyes, I kind of see like a lot of red and a lot of smoke, and it's kind of scary.
I'm working for the government and I see that the policies and stuff, and I know that there are people who are working on it, but we lack implementation.
So I think the battle would be on regaining our environment.
You know, we have such rapid movement and development and technology. Innovation's fantastic, but I don't think the policy can keep up, and I think we're really lacking strong leadership globally.
So I agree with more urbanization and urban forestry being one of the ways forward.
I think people need to buy into the fact that they need to buy less and consume less. And also, I think to facilitate that, I think it has to be a movement with all stakeholders.
From the drawings and from what you guys are saying, it sounds like it'll be small community groups that actually push these drivers and make these changes happen. It won't be someone standing at the top, it'll be someone who's come through the system to the top to voice those changes.
What can the youth do now in order to actually, convince that we can achieve a green future?
We are able to partner with such organizations and voice out and share our thoughts.
But I feel like if there was this mass mobilization of youth that actually created counter narratives that said, well, what this popular narrative is false and we need to act on it, that would at least give some kind of public consciousness that there is a different opinion.
But you, the youth, have proved today that you are wild, but usefully wild in terms of how the future could be geared toward a sustainable one. I am also pleased to see new ideas that come from you. I'm also quite impressed with the confidence of the youth that we can move ahead into a better future. They call it a green future. So this enthusiasm from the youth is really, really important for this Outlook study. And it is important for policymakers to understand that youth is actually a powerhouse for change.
Hi, I'm Zara Mutiara. I'm from Indonesia, 26 years old. I'm currently working to maintain the landscape of the heart of Borneo. For International Day of Forest, I would like to encourage us to educate and learn from each other, especially those from marginalized and indigenous people, where all of the wisdom are there to move together towards sustainability. Happy International Day of Forest!
My name is Emil Ted. I'm from Myanmar. I now work at the Forest Department, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental Conservation in Myanmar. I'm now 25 years old. It is very important to learn about forests because the forests are the basis of our planet here. Is my own perspective because forests are the phenomena for our daily life from the basic need to that higher levels of usefulness. Happy International Days of Forest.